Ladies and gentlemen, I did not even want to set up this camera to talk about this right now because I just feel like we have gone through this multiple times already. But I'm actually surprised that there are not a lot of videos already online talking about this. Although I did see a MSNBC article, which I will link below, that basically sum up exactly my thoughts when starting to watch this Queen Charlotte Bridgerton story prequel that is now on Netflix. I was hesitant at first because of, again, the issues, the problematic plots of at least the first season. But because of that, I was already hesitant to even attempt to watch this because it's already been discussed in terms of the historical inaccuracies or lack of evidence thereof of Queen Charlotte being any ounce of black, and this back and forth debate about what it means to actually portray her as such in this fictional series, which they made sure to tell us we're not trying to be factual.
Dearest gentle reader, this is the story of Queen Charlotte from Bridgerton. It is not a history lesson. It is fiction inspired by fact. All liberties taken by the author are quite intentional. Enjoy.
So thank you for that. Thank you for letting us know that this is totally not true, because one thing that should have been included in the disclaimer for this video, for this series, is that you are also not going to try to portray dark-skinned black women factually. I am not a film critic. I'm not a TV critic, so I can only come up from the point of view of a writer, and it's definitely in the script, the issue here. If you're going to cast the pending queen, who ultimately becomes Queen Charlotte, as a light-skinned black woman, and then her best friend counterpart, Lady Danbury, as a dark-skinned, very, very dark-skinned black woman from Sierra Leone, might I add. They made sure to point that out. Don't fall into the same lackadaisical tropes that we have already been criticizing for umpteenth amount of years. And again, so blatantly, like, it was jarring to see the way that Queen Charlotte, albeit reluctantly, was being swept away to becoming queen of an empire, to then be switched over to the experiences of this dark-skinned black woman being, starts with an R, by her husband, who's also very, very, very cartoonishly way dark-skinned as well. The only reason why I'm making this video is because I did start a series on this channel about writing about black women, and it was from the novelist perspective and also from a poet perspective. But I think I'm going to bring it back because I think it's needed, apparently, even when you're talking about someone like Shonda Rhimes, who has broken so many ceilings to become this powerful black woman in Hollywood, only to use her position to continue to perpetuate this pathological narrative about dark-skinned black women. Ironically, with her being a dark-skinned black woman herself, it boggles me. We always say that if we would just get the opportunity, we being black women, to be in these rooms, to be in these positions, to be able to tell our stories the right way, because Hollywood apparently always gets it wrong because it's just cis white hetero men in the rooms, in the writing rooms. Why is it now that with this powerhouse that is Shondaland, we are still seeing these same lackadaisical caricatures on TV? So I'm not going to go into a whole history about colorism because there's already so many videos on YouTube about that. I'm not going to go into a whole history about Queen Charlotte and whether or not we should be trying to claim her as black, because again, too many videos already online about that. My whole reason for just coming on this camera and talking about the Queen Charlotte series is that it was like a jump scare seeing that scene with Lady, who ultimately becomes Lady Danbury, and her husband, and feeling actually like hurt. And I guess you wouldn't consider me light skinned, but you also wouldn't consider me dark skinned, so I guess I'm still kind of on the privileged end So even from that perspective, I was feeling secondhand, not embarrassment, but secondhand like distraught for any dark-skinned Black women who's watching this and maybe feeling a type of way. The fact that the light-skinned Black woman in the beginning, though going through her tests and trials with this person that's supposed to be her husband, ultimately gets the romantic love that she wants. But then on the other hand, we see her dark-skinned Black woman counterpart having to serve at her pleasure or serve at her mercy. I don't know how I want to say it. Anyway, basically servicing her and making sure that she gets to that ultimate romantic climax that she would, no pun intended, that she was lacking. But for no one else to be there at Lady Danceberry's side to help her out the mud as well. It's seeming to say that dark-skinned Black women are either just going to stay in their lower part of society, or they're just going to have to figure out how to get out of it on their own. But they're still relegated to never ever daring to think that they could have the crown, the ultimate goal, the ultimate prize, which is always given to the biracial or light-skinned, racially ambiguous Black women. So anyway, I don't think I actually summarized why I came on this camera. I came on this camera to say that if there's any Black women out there, reiterating the words of this writer of the MSNBC article, if there's any Black woman writer out there aspiring or currently who is working her way through the political game that is getting into the writer's room of Hollywood or getting published, I implore you, I beg you to not give in to any pressures that may be around you to tap into these stereotypes, to capitalize on this derogatory way of depicting Black women in order to get your position, to get your seat at the table in these industries. Because once again, the whole point of getting into those rooms and getting a seat at the table is to make sure that we are seen, we are actually heard, and that our pain, that our lives, that our humanity is depicted in a humane way, in a way that's realistic to our experiences. Not every dark-skinned Black woman is being forced into an unhappy marriage or deserves to be in an unhappy marriage. So I don't know why we keep seeing that. I don't know why we keep seeing dark-skinned Black women having to scheme their way to the top. I'm talking about the scene between Lady Danceberry and King George's mother. I don't know what the name of the character is, but not every dark-skinned Black woman has to scheme her way to the top. There are dark-skinned Black women who are very much talented in their own right and have found their way into positions of privilege by talent and by hard work, and also maybe by luck also, because meritocracy is not always a thing, but they are not always scheming and being mischievous in order to get it. So again, summarizing quickly because this video is already way too long. If you are an aspiring Black woman writer out there, please don't follow the Shonda Rhimes formula. I beg you. There are those of us out there, trust me, we might not be mainstream, but we are here, who will eat up your independent film, who will buy your book that will actually tell a positive, honest, and uplifting story about being a Black woman, whatever side of the hue you are on. Thanks.